I'm now joined by meteorologist Gerard Jebaily here at NewsNation World Headquarters in Chicago. Gerard, where is Ian right now?
All right, good morning, Mitch. So we have Category 1 Hurricane Ian. Again, it re-strengthened last night, and we are seeing it approaching the coast of South Carolina right now. Most of the precipitation is starting to already move ashore. We're seeing it especially all along the I-95 corridor. Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Florence, Columbia. You're feeling all of that, and it's stretching all the way into North Carolina as well. But the center of Ian is still pretty far offshore, by at least 50 to 80 miles, I'd say. We're going to continue to watch it take its time moving inland, but I'd say by around midday to the early afternoon hours, we're going to see Ian beginning to make landfall. Somewhere between Charleston and Myrtle Beach, probably the Bulls Bay area near Georgetown, South Carolina or so. And we'll continue to watch Ian move inland. We'll see it weakening as it does, but along the way, of course, you can expect the impacts that you might imagine. But sustained winds around 85 miles per hour or so at the time of landfall. Of course, we have hurricane warnings up and down the East Coast. We definitely have tropical storm warnings going pretty far inland as well. We're talking Augusta, Columbia, Charlotte, Raleigh. Many of these areas are going to be feeling a lot of the winds because Ian has, while weakened, its wind field has really grown. I'll show you that in a little bit. So we're going to see a lot of different impacts from them. One of them, of course, is flash flooding between Charleston, Charlotte, all the way up. This is what you can expect, all that precipitation out ahead of the main center of circulation. But the wind will still stick around, even though the rain might actually back off a little bit. And we're going to see precipitation all the way up to the northeast. This system will, again, just expand and spread out its impacts everywhere from Philadelphia all the way to Charleston, West Virginia. Going to see some amount of rainfall from Ian. This is that wind field I was talking about. 520 miles across. I mean, that's huge. That would more than cover the states of South Carolina, North Carolina, even most of Georgia. But the good news is the worst of the winds, very small and just very close to the center. So we're only going to be talking about isolated to scattered power outages for the most part with Ian's wind field like this. We'll get to that and show you that map in a moment. First, here's some of the winds that we're going to talk about. Anywhere from 50 to 60 mile per hour winds until we get a little bit later on around midday for the East Coast. We'll see along the immediate coastline 60, nearing 70 mile per hour winds or so. Inland, you may not get them quite as high. You have a little bit more trees and things to kind of slow the winds down near the ground. So you may not get as strong a gusts, but we'll eventually see those winds dying back a little bit. Again, scattered power outages for the most part. We're talking South and North Carolina. The last thing, again, is the storm surge. I think we're going to find most of all, at least much lower storm surge on the south end, but still 4 to 7 feet on the high end, anywhere between Charleston to, say, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, on the north end near the North Carolina border. That will, of course, inundate some homes along the beachfront on the first floors. We're going to have at least basically at least minor issues there, and possibly a few other places that are a little more susceptible.
Yeah, Gerard and I know South Carolina well. They call that part of the state the low country. So I know that a hurricane that comes in there with a storm surge like that is going to cause some problems.
Right. Low country, Charleston, and the Grand Strand along the Myrtle Beach area. And you can definitely have that with so much of it near sea level. Exactly.
All right, Gerard Jebaily, we're going to be checking in with you throughout the hour. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation in your cable lineup. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-based, unbiased coverage.